Melbourne, 1956. The opening day ceremonies of the 16th Olympiad of the modern Olympic era. For the first time in Olympic history, the Games will be held in a country located south of the equator. In all, 67 countries will compete. The United States team passes in review. Part of the American team, the 8-oar crew from Yale University. Almost 5 months earlier, the Yale 8 earned the right to represent the United States in Melbourne by winning the Olympic trials. Then Yale defeated the defending Olympic champions from the Naval Academy, who had reassembled to try to represent the United States again. Here in Melbourne, the Yale crew would be out to give the United States its 8th successive 8-oar crew gold medal. Since 1920 in Antwerp, no United States crew had lost a single heat or final in Olympic competition. One day after the Melbourne Games began, this unblemished record was broken. After its first race, the United States crew was on the verge of being eliminated. They finished third in their heat, but only the first 2 finishers qualified to go on. The United States would now have to win the repechage, the race which gives another chance to those teams who fail to qualify in their heats. The United States must win the repechage or be out of the competition. The number 3 man in the Yale boat, John Cook.
Well, it was a real shock. We rode what we thought was going to be a good race. We did not know much about the Australians. We knew a lot about the Canadians. We'd heard they were quite a fast crew. And so both of them went off the line very high and stayed high. We pushed it pretty hard in the last 500 meters, and we did catch up a full length, but it was just not enough at the finish.
The number 2 man, David White.
Our coach, Jim Rashman, I know, took us out for a long walk after that row and was very good about not criticizing us, not going over what we did wrong or anything, but just saying, look, I still have confidence in you. I still know you can do it, and you should know you can do it.
2 days later, the United States faced Italy, Great Britain, and France in the repechage, the 4 teams which failed to qualify in the opening round.
So we get into the repechage and row a nice, easy race in the repechage. It made us look as if we had planned that whole operation. In fact, of course, we didn't. And we did row in the repechage, but the repechage was fairly easy. We won that race very handily.
The victory placed the United States in one of the semifinals. There they would face Australia, the team that defeated them 3 days earlier.
We had to prove to ourselves that we could beat Australia, and that was our first opportunity. And in the semifinals, it was 2 crews of that semifinals would go into the finals. Both Australia and ourselves were so far in front of the other 2 crews that there was just no contest. Clearly, each of us could have just about walked across the line. But I remember, I guess, with about 300 meters to go, the Australian coxswain yelling over at our crew saying, "Ease off, Yanks, you've got it, ease off." And obviously, at the same time, he was taking a power 10 and trying to go by us. And we were ahead of him by about a quarter length at that point. And we cranked the stroke up, they did too, and it was a race to the finish, and we beat them by a bow's length, about 6-7 feet.
We were very much criticized by the Australian press after that race for having been silly to give so much the day before the finals just to win when we could have easily qualified by coming in second. But it meant a great deal to us psychologically to have come back and beaten one of the 3 crews that beat us in the first heat.
November 27th, 1956. The final for the 8-oar crew gold medal. The 4 teams, the United States at the top, Australia second from the top, Sweden, and Canada at the bottom. The race is 2,000 meters long. The United States crew starts off at 32 strokes a minute.
After the end of the first 500 meters, the coxswain hammered on the side of the boat and said, "All right, gang, we got to move it a little bit. We're going to go up to 34. And all of us said, I think mentally, said, "My God, I thought we were pretty close to that now. It sure feels like an awfully rushed 32. And in fact, we were rowing 36. We took it to 38. We rode most of the race at 38.
If they'd ever told us this during the race, the stroke we were rowing, I would have fallen right out of the boat with surprise, if nothing else. The boat felt very good that day. It seemed to be moving along very well. There was not any excessive effort required to keep it going other than the tremendous effort it takes to make a boat move. The turning point in that race for me was with about 500 meters to go when we stuck our nose out in front for the first time by a couple of feet, and our coxswain, Bill Becklean, started chanting, "You're going to win, you're going to win."
The United States crew is at the top. Canada at the bottom is second. Australia between them third. Sweden fourth and last. At the finish, it is the United States first, Canada second, Australia third.
I think the first feeling that we had was a great feeling of relief that the race was over and we had been able to do the job that we'd set out and been sent down to Australia to do. John was right in front of me. He actually collapsed into my lap as he did on almost every race we rode. He has a phenomenal ability to pace himself so that the last stroke he has to row is the last stroke he can row.
I don't remember rowing the last maybe 200 meters, 100 meters, something like that. I was mentally just gone. I was totally exhausted. I couldn't get my legs to work at all. My breathing was completely shot. I was, after the race, I turned blue, which was, I guess, the result of not enough oxygen in my bloodstream. I remembered getting up to the victory stand and being helped out of the boat. I couldn't get out of the boat, but several of my buddies helped me out of the boat and got me standing somehow. They had to cart me off to the hospital after that.
Now it is over. After losing its first heat, the United States has made the most dramatic comeback in rowing history. The United States has won its 8th successive 8-oar crew gold medal.